What's up, guys? Okay, y'all want an update? Here we go with the update, guys, and my bad on that. I'm a couple of minutes late, but I'm here. I was trying to get some last minute information on this nut bag, so let me share that with you right now. Okay, let's see. We know 4 people were killed, 5 if you include the shooter. It was discussed earlier at a press conference. I know some people are still speculating on whether or not the killer took his own life or whether he was taken out by law enforcement. It does seem like he was, according to the police chief earlier, which I consider a pretty reliable source, it does seem like he was deleted from law enforcement. So he did not delete himself. He was, in fact, deleted by returning fire from the law enforcement who engaged him. Sadly, there's a 26-year-old law enforcement officer who appears to have just graduated from the academy. He was struck by the shooter in the head, and I think he's already had brain surgery, and he is in critical condition, unconscious right now, of course. So he's recovering. So this was a kid that ran to the fight. No, I'm sorry, 23 years old. Oh, no, he's 26. The killer's 23. Yeah, ran right to it. You know, one of the first guys on the scene ran to it, and unfortunately, he got shot in the head. We don't know a ton about the shooter yet because the shooter appears to be from a protected class, if you know what I mean. What I mean by that is, even though he appears to be a white male, which is an unprotected class, I'm not going to put his picture up there, but I'm going to try to where you can see this. He was pretty clear that he listed his pronouns, which I thought was pretty sweet on his LinkedIn page. He was a former employee of the bank. Actually, he was a future former employee of the bank, as I understand it. And let me roll down here and I'll explain to you how I know that. Let me try not to show his picture as much as I can. He was notified that he was going to be terminated. So it sounds like he wasn't officially terminated yet, that someone told him, which is absolutely stupid. If you've ever managed people, you don't tell a person you're going to terminate them. You unfortunately try to catch them off guard. You don't want them to be able to prepare for something like this. Just a little bit of psychological stuff that you got to be prepared for. He wrote a note for his parents and a friend and indicating that he was going to shoot at the bank. Pretty sure I know the friend, it's probably his boyfriend, that I'm trying not to show his picture, guys, but I got to scroll. They don't know if the note was emailed or written on paper. And this nutbag actually streamed this on Instagram. I have a feeling, based on what I've seen, this is another one that we're never going to see the suicide note, and we're never going to hear any more details about this. Again, this appears to be a protected individual, and they are going to protect his background. They're going to protect his type of date that he would prefer to go out on. Trying to be as nice about this as I can. Former classmate of Louisville shooting suspect says no red flag or signal that this could ever happen. We've heard that before. Somebody on the live stream earlier said that this guy had contact with the FBI. I can't confirm that, but I know that I've heard a couple of people say that. What else do we know about this guy? They still will not say what type of rifle he had. And when law enforcement says an AR-15 style rifle, we know a lot of law enforcement doesn't know anything. They probably couldn't describe their own Glock that they wear on their own person every single day. So law enforcement typically are not known to be gun people. Of course, your SWAT guys and some of those better trained people are, but your everyday law enforcement guy, he doesn't know squat about weapons. Couldn't hit the side of a barn with his more than likely. So when they say AR-15 style weapon, I'm not really sure what they're talking about. It could be another Kel-Tec sub 2000 like we've seen. I will be honest with you, when I heard the video, in fact, you guys will know what I'm talking about. A couple of you were kind enough to send me some videos earlier of the shootings on the street. Quite frankly, I didn't hear anything that I thought was a rifle. Everything sounded like handgun rounds, 9mm-ish. So let me see if I can pull this up real quick and see if you guys can hear this. I've got it on my phone here, so I want you guys to see if you can. That one didn't come up. That might have already been scrubbed. They might be taking all this stuff off of Twitter now. I bet they are. I bet they're taking all this stuff down now. Again, he live streamed this. This is not his live stream, by the way. Here we go. I don't know. Those first couple of shots I did not hear earlier. This is a different video. Listen to this. Any day now. And these next shots, look, these first ones sound. Those could have been rifle shots. Now, these next ones are definitely handgun rounds. This sounds like return fire. Right here. You say an active shooter at the bank. I'm going to try to find this real quick, guys. Let me locate this person on Twitter so you guys can see it as well or hear it as well. Yeah, and after listening to it the second time, I almost questioned whether or not maybe it was a rifle at first. It's funny how you guys will probably hear the same thing I'm talking about. All right, let's see. Where is this? Did they pull his down? It looks like maybe they've oh, here we go. This guy is looks like a news reporter, Emmy award-winning reporter at WDRB News. And of course it's not there. I don't see his. Here we go. All right. Let me try to bring this into the room real quick. I'll get rid of this other post. And let me pull this other one up. Sorry for being a little unorganized, but I'm doing this all by myself. So let's see if you guys are going to be able to see this. Let me try to zoom that in just a hair more so you can. There we go. At least should be a Dalton Godby is who I'm looking at. So let me grab this real quick. Let me make sure that I've got his audio in there too. Yeah. Audio is going to be in here. So check this out. Okay, come on. Can you zoom in again? There we go. No? That sounded like that might have been a handgun too. It had that short pop to it. And these other rounds are definitely handgun rounds coming up here after the siren stopped. See that? Let me back that back up. Let me get in here. Okay, I'm going to play that back one more time. What do you guys think? Just give me your thoughts on that. Not that it matters. I'm just curious. That did have that short kind of compact pop to it that I would expect maybe in 9mm or so. That's definitely a handgun right here. Yeah, without question, those are handguns. That last group. I don't know if we have more. Okay, I'm gonna do this one more time and then we'll get off this video. So listen to the first round. Let me play that back again. And that one's is only one a question, although it sounds like a handgun round. This next one is absolutely a handgun round. Agreed? So I will try. I'll do my best to grab these videos or at least the links to these folks and see if I cannot put them into the live stream chat. Not chat, but well, heck, I could do that. Let me drop it into the chat right now if anybody else wants to go grab it. That's what we just looked at in the chat. So if you guys want to go take a look at that yourself with better audio, take a look at it and see what you think. Again, not that it matters. I'm just, at this point, it does kind of matter what we're talking about, the weapon, because it's going to be hyper focused as far as what can we ban next. Yeah, I agree with Miles here to a certain degree. They both did sound like a 9mm to me. The second group, without question, is a 9mm. The other one may be from a different vantage point, obviously, like it might have been the shooter shooting first. So maybe we have more of the muzzle facing us or muzzle away from us, you know what I mean, to give it a different dynamic as far as the sound. But that second group was no question. That's a 9mm handgun. So yeah, you didn't have that really sharp crack of a rifle round. They're calling a rifle, but again, guys, they've been calling a Kel-Tec Sub 2000 a rifle for a week now, and we know that it's not. So let's see. No official word out on that. But yeah, I think that what we're going to be dealing with here is very much a protected person. I don't think they're going to want to name. I would like to put this up here real quick. Let me do this because this is what the mainstream media and the anti-gun folks always seem to forget about. And I think that we have to do this. The victims here. I mean, so often, if it's not a child, they really don't care about it because dead children sell memberships to anti-gun movements. People act through their emotions alone. But we've got 4 people here: Tommy Elliott, 63 years old; Jim Tutch, 64; Josh Barrick, 40; and Juliana Farmer, 57, all murdered in that bank. I do believe at least 3 of those were bank employees, possibly all 4. I know I've read where 3 of them are, but I believe the 4th one is as well. So sounds like my guess is, especially since one of these is a friend of the governor of Kentucky, that one of these is more than likely one of the higher ups who either was planning to terminate this employee or had told the employee that they were going to be terminated. So you probably have, I don't want to say CEO, because I think the CEO of the bank is coming down, but probably the local manager, the regional manager, whatever you want to call them, is more than likely one of these folks right here. Somebody with a little bit of clout that was going to handle the termination of this employee. Still don't know why the guy was being terminated. That hasn't come out either. We don't know anything about that. But again, our thoughts and prayers do go out to Tommy, Jim, Josh, and Juliana. I will say this, the anti-gun left does not have the right to tell me who I can or can't pray for. So if they think that I shouldn't be praying for these people, they can kiss my butt because they don't determine that. Thoughts and they always want to tell us that we should not be sending thoughts and prayers because we're pro-gun. That just shows you how stupid they are and how hateful and evil they are, because they feel like if you don't believe in them and their message and their desire to ban guns, that somehow or another we don't have the right to pray for people, but you don't ever hear them praying about people. So I have said some prayers for these victims, even the killer's family. I hate that for them. Don't know what took place there. I would be willing to bet, just like we always talk about, we got psychotropic drugs involved. But again, I think the details we're going to hear about, folks, are going to be regarding the gun and how the guy got the gun. We're not going to hear much about this person because I'm going to keep repeating this. I think this is a protected person, and you guys can read between the lines. I'm pretty sure the killer is one of the protected people that the mainstream media and the wackos on the far left are protecting and using to try to further their cause nationwide. And I don't believe we're going to hear much about this person, unfortunately. But I do feel for his family. He's a piece of garbage for wanting to murder people so young in his own life just because he's being terminated. But if we ever get the truth about why he was being terminated, we might hear more about what went on here. Let me pull more into here. We had, yeah, here's the story right here about the, guess we'll know right here. He doesn't name the person. I said it, Tommy Elliott. Yep, Tommy Elliott. So was Tommy one of the? Yeah, Tommy's a 63-year-old, one of the, or the 63-year-old guy. It's very possible that's a manager of the bank or something like that. The sad thing about this is a Democrat governor. I did notice that this governor was very careful not to use the phrase gun violence. This really, and you have to understand, folks, that when these people have something like this happen, both sides have to choose their words carefully, the anti-gun side and the pro-gun side. And people who are up for reelection or who are in purplish states have to be careful how they word things, because Kentucky has a lot of red in it. Now, Louisville is super blue. The mayor is blue, Democrat. This governor is a Democrat. But this governor, not once did he call it gun violence. The Democrat did, the mayor, Democrat mayor did many times, and regurgitated the same old lines that he's probably printed out online. Glad that he had a moment where he could actually use these things that he's been memorizing for so long. This governor was very careful not to call it gun violence. He was very careful to call it violence, which, I mean, I commend him. He did a great job. I thought he handled this from an unbiased standpoint. I thought he did this without a political agenda. You could tell he was scared to piss off the Second Amendment supporters out there, but at the same time, didn't cave to the anti-gun people either. So, maybe that's how these guys ought to be talking a little bit more often and not picking a side. Do I pick a side? Of course I do. I'm trying to protect the Second Amendment and the rights that we have with the Second Amendment. I will always pick a side, but these politicians should not be picking a side. And I just hope that he sticks to his guns and doesn't cave a little bit. Let's see. What was one of the viewers here? I'm trying to catch your things when I see your comments pass in. Yeah, I want to see what Anna says. Dude, I dived into a DSM-5 the other day after catching your live stream. You're right. Those folks are very mentally ill. Yeah, man. I mean, the DSM-5, if you want to understand, and really it's easier to follow than what you would think. If you want to understand how these people, how their minds work, and more than likely including this shooter right here in the Louisville area, read the DSM-5. It's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. They should sell more of these books. People should. It's really, again, it's not enough pictures for a guy like me, but a lot easier to follow than what you would think. So glad you picked that up, man. Glad you looked at it and checked that out. We need more people out there that are delving more into this kind of stuff. But again, kudos to this governor for not making it super and overly political. I know he probably wants to, and I know his campaign probably wants him to, but he steered away from that, and you could tell he purposely tried not to call it. To this point, I've seen him on camera twice today, and not once did he call this gun violence. I commend that, because gun violence, all that is a dog whistle to all these anti-gun wackos out there, instead of just calling it what it is. When you call it gun violence, you are making this weird, stupid implication that the gun had a portion of play into this, that the gun had a hand in something that happened, that the gun was an active member of what happened here. When you call it violence, you automatically reposition that blame or that focus on the person who actually did it, which, is the right thing to do. And this governor did that. And as a Democrat governor, I got to give him a pat on the back. This is the first time I have ever seen a Democrat governor or mayor in a state or city that they preside in not go overboard. Now, he did fake tears a couple times, and maybe they weren't fake. I shouldn't say that. That's dishonest or disheartening on my part to say something like that. I shouldn't do that, because this guy was a friend of his. But the tears, they did seem a little forced earlier. But again, maybe that's just the way he cries. So again, my bad on that. I'll admit for being wrong on that, guys. This is the officer that went in there, Nicholas Wilt. He was 26 years old, a Louisville Metro Police Department officer. Was taken to the hospital, had brain surgery. He is in critical but stable condition. He was new to the department, having graduated police academy at the end of March. Wow, this dude was not even in there for 2 weeks and ran to it. Whoever trained this guy did it right. You know, it looks like Uvalde might have taught some of these cowards across the nation a lot of very valuable lessons. Apparently, this is Nicholas Wilt in the center. That's the police chief on the right for the Louisville area. And that's the candy ass Democrat mayor on the left right there, who is really anti-gun. And he's going to milk this for all it's worth. But that's the kid right there that got shot in the head. And, big time prayers go out to him and his family. He's already had brain surgery today to try to repair the damage. And he's currently in stable condition. I really hope that kid recovers, man. I mean, I don't know who, including this kid, shot the killer, but if nothing else, he certainly, excuse me, took his attention away from innocent, unarmed people. And I give him big props to that. Even if he's not the one that took the shooter out. He certainly took his focus from innocent people and aimed it at him. Trying not to show the name or the face of the idiot. 23-year-old male. He was employed at the bank. The shooter's weapon of choice was a rifle. We keep hearing him say rifle. But again, if something is longer than a pistol, usually the soft-brained anti-gun wackos will call that a rifle. So we really don't know what it is right now. We've heard AR style. We've heard long assault rifle. And now we've heard rifle. We don't know. We simply don't know. No pictures or anything like that right now. So, again, I know not that matters, but it does matter to the anti-gun wackos because those people are salivating right now to find out what they can cry for a ban on next. Let me refresh this and see if anything else came out before I move on here. God, that mayor is such he's a worm. What's this say what we're covering right here? Let's look at this real quick. 4 kills, shooter identified as 23-year-old male. Weapon of choice is a rifle. Again, we don't really know that. This is coming from uneducated people in the gun community. Shooter was live streaming. From what I understand, it was on Instagram. I don't think it's been taken down, but I did go look on the Instagram, and there's several of this guy's name out there, and it's just almost impossible to find. Apparently, his name is more common than I thought it would be. So I could not find it. Apparently, they're having to work with Instagram to get his account taken down now, right now. Local hospital received 9 patients, 2 officers, 7 civilians. 3 patients have been released and 3 are in critical condition, including the police officer, which we just discussed. So, I mean, honestly, guys, right now, I don't think there's a ton of more news that we know, more information. I think this is probably about it. And I'm while you guys are looking at this and while I'm running my mouth, I'm still looking to see if we have any other updates up there. There's been a lot of pretty good coverage on this today, but it's more coverage on what's happening on the scene. Again, they're very, very careful to keep the killer in this case protected. They're really protecting him. I can promise you if this was some hillbilly white Christian redneck that his face and everything would be plastered everywhere. And he would be linked to Donald Trump and a white supremacy group and all kind of other hate groups and stuff like that. This guy, the way they're guarding him, tells you who he voted for and what his likely personal choices are. Let me just leave it at that. And I hope you guys know me well enough to where you can read between the lines. YouTube is waiting with bated breath to take this live stream down. So I'm being as careful as I can so they don't just can the whole thing. And I'm trying to see if we have, let's see, a little bit of shooting. Let's see if I can pull this one thing. Let me see here. I want to pull this article up, and I don't want to show this kid's face, the shooter. Um, okay, let me try to pull this article up that I just found and see if I cannot share this with you guys. And again, my apologies if you get his picture or his name. I am not trying to do that, but sometimes it's a little hard to maneuver around some of these things without his name and his picture being on there. So I try to run it off as quickly as I can. Let's see. This is an article on him about him. He was live streaming the video on Instagram at the time of the shooting. The video and the account belonging to the surgeon were taken down. Okay, so they took it down. They were successful in getting Instagram to take it down. It was not immediately clear how long the video was being streamed on Instagram and whether any clips were posted elsewhere. Well, I mean, once it's online, it's online. So somebody's going to surface with this either on Reddit or some kind of dark web or something like that. But once it's online, it's out there. Police and Old National Bank have not confirmed this guy's employment status at the time of the shooting. Again, the report that I saw earlier said that he had been notified that he was going to be terminated, which is a really stupid method of terminating somebody. You don't notify they're going to be terminated unless you are in the process of terminating them. The 4 victims all worked as we said earlier, all worked at the National Bank along with the shooter, according to their LinkedIn profiles. The wounded victims, other than the officers, also worked. Okay, so it was all bank employees and 2 law enforcement officers who were shot. So yeah, this guy probably had access to it. From what I understand and read, the bank didn't open until 9 a.m. and this murderer went in there at 8:30 and took these people's lives. So the general public should not have been in there. Let's see if there's anything else on this. The initial reports also said that there was no security in the area. So yeah, it's likely a gun-free zone, and there was no security either. Suspect shot at officers. We then returned fire and stopped the threat. The suspect is deceased. Let's see. Wilt, 2 other officers were injured as they exchanged gunfire with the suspect. One was grazed with a bullet in his left side, and the other suffered a minor elbow injury. This guy called a friend and said he was going to kill everyone at the bank. Okay, I did not know that. So let's go down here. Let's see if we can't read this stuff without broadcasting the guy's name. Police scanner audio obtained by Heavy through Broadcastify revealed details of what officers were told as they responded to the scene. Are you guys watching the same thing I am? I want to make sure that I'm not. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to see if I can't pull this audio. This looks like is this a scanner audio right here? Let's see.
Charlie, 3040.
414 Charlie.
414 Charlie, 3040. 171 about shots fired.
126, what's the address?
333 is made, Old National Bank. Another caller advising possibly 8 to 9 people have been shot. Have a description of a white male, Connor, 6 feet tall, light blue shirt, dark colored pants. On the first floor.
Did you have shots fired?
Okay. On scene, shots fired at 341.
From the east side at Preston and Main.
Making entry east side, Preston and Main. EMS and fire responding. Advise when it's secure.
14 Charlie, okay.
414 Charlie, 341.
Officer down, do not approach from the west. Do not approach from the left. All cars approach from the east.
Advise officer down, what location?
Right in front of the bank, right in front of the bank.
Officer down, right in front of the bank. Do not approach from the west, approach from the east.
Wow.
When we get them, can we use the vehicle for cover? Swatting around.
Swatting around.
Down on the steps, down on the steps.
Officers down on the steps.
340, I'll grab the officer, put him in my car. Where's he at?
Down on the steps, front of the bank.
The shooter has an angle on that officer. We need to get up there. I don't know where he's at. The glass is blocking him.
Shooter has an angle on the officer.
We need to try to get in from the rear of the bank if we can. If we approach from the front, we're going to be ambushed. Down behind my car. Other officers right in front of the bank. We need to get the rear of the bank locked down on the Witherspoon side if we can.
Need to get the rear of the bank locked down with the soon side. If entering from the front, you will be ambushed.
214 Charlie. We're at Washington and Preston. What's the best way to get in?
Stay advised, Witherspoon side, rear of the bank.
I agree, Annan. It's tough to listen to. Talking about the officer down the steps in front of the bank. You can hear.
Ready to get to the air unit monitoring.
You can hear in their voices.
Somebody advised air units on the way. Any available unit responds. 333 East Main, Old National Bank.
Shield up. We can try to get this officer.
Officer's still
Units
laying
with
on
the
the
shield
step,
to try to get the officer.
on the steps in front of the bank.
We're approaching from the west. We're coming with a car. We're trying to get this officer.
Okay, approaching from the west, trying to get the car to get the officer.
Gosh, they're going to use the car to block the guy's angle to the officer who's already shot, laid on the steps, dying on the steps going into the bank. That's what the radio just said.
Must be careful. Must be careful.
Yes, on channel additional on the shooter, 25-year-old white male, Connor Sturgeon, 6'4". He's texted a friend, called a friend, left a voicemail. He's going to kill everyone at the bank, feeling suicidal.
Shots fired. Shots fired again.
Shots fired again.
So the kid was laying on the steps. He got shot outside the bank as he was approaching the.
Give him command. Give him command.
Where do you need units?
I know you still actively fire.
Still actively firing.
Taking shots from Maine and Preston.
Okay, taking shots from Maine and Preston.
To get this officer.
They need a SWAT field to get to the officer.
Right, Tim. I agree with you. I saw that too. Yeah, man. If you can give us the handle.
We got two moving on officers. We got two moving on officers for cover.
Two moving on the officer.
Hit fucking EMS here now. He's got a GSW to the head. Hold on.
What is?
Need EMS for GSW to the head. It'd be 1086 at the front.
Get a fucking EMS right now.
Ugh.
345.
He sees his kid's head blown open.
Hold the rear of the bank. Hold the rear of the bank. You're on the Preston side of Main Street. Need EMS now.
EMS to the Preston side of Main Street.
We have multiple levels as well. SWAT 124, where do we need to go?
Where do you need SWAT 124 in the rear?
Yeah, Tim, if you could post that handle, bro, I'd appreciate
They're
that.
trying
Man.
to hold the rear of the bank on Witherspoon.
Stage right here against the green.
Stage it against the green.
For those of you not sure, we're listening to the dispatcher and the cops on the scene during the shooting.
20 for SWAT 124.
It's tough to listen to, man.
Southeast corner, Slugger Field.
Southeast corner, Slugger Field. SWAT 124, yep.
Where's the shooter location?
Is the shooter still inside?
Unknown where he's at. I got probably about 5 officers inside. I'm holding outside watching 173 Baker Bill rise. I'm standing with the shooter. He's down 1080. We got officers searching the building.
Shooter's down.
171 Baker, by shooter is down 1080. Have officers searching the building. Where do you have them?
Be advised, that's 173 Baker. Secure. SWAT and other officers are searching the building.
Okay, what floor are you on?
Out to the hospital. Code 3.
Officers to the hospital, code 3, 347.
14 Charlie, we're transporting one officer. Get the hospital ready.
I'm okay. Calling University, Area
That's
47.
sad, man. And watching this kid die with his head shot. That's sad, man.
I'm 76. We're going to the hospital. We'll get there.
176, Area 48.
$171, slow everybody down. Slow everyone down. Coming, responding. Slow them down to code 1. Everything's 86 on the scene.
171, advise anyone responding to the scene, slow to code 1. You didn't know about the shooter?
Put a wrap up. 173, I have to shoot. The shooter's down. We need to set up a perimeter and secure this building.
Okay, you didn't know about the hospital, repeat.
Officer to the hospital. Get us room 9 now.
414 Charlie going room 9 with the officer.
170, let's get an EMS station over corner block, East Main, parking lot across from Louisville Slugger.
EMS stage 400 block East Main across from Louisville Slugger.
They're saying to slow the traffic down. This is
Where's the route for the officers? Does anybody else need to be transported?
this is everything that
Do you have them
happened
at the
during the
hospital
shooting
already?
from dispatch. And they're asking everybody to slow down because they feel like they have the shooter neutralized at this point. So they don't want people to keep
Can anyone advise is the officer at
hauling
the
butt to
hospital?
the area.
414 Charlie said they were pulling in with him 2 minutes ago.
And as we stated earlier,
We have 4 down, 5.
Dude, out of my copy 4 down. What's your location?
The conference room. We'll give you a better location. Fails down. We only have 1 officer down, luckily.
101, I'm okay. Any units slow down responding to the scene. 112 Adam, where do you need EMS?
Just have them push stuff out so that EMS can get to the building.
Any unit responding to EMS to the hospital will clear it out so EMS can get to the building is 850. Correction, any unit responding to the scene. 112 Adam, where are your victims?
2 that are hit the back conference room on the north side of the building, first floor.
911 Baker, 2 victims, because I went to the head. Conference room, Tuesday backside, first floor.
I have 4 females coming out to the front door.
We only need to set up a command post and a casualty collection point. Start running that scene.
2 females coming out to the front door. SWAT 125. I couldn't copy you, sir.
Where's the command post today?
100, we can use the Sluggerfield parking lot for the
look at
command
this
post.
crap.
Use Sluggerfield parking lot for command post.
30 in here.
Air 30 in the area is area 51.
East Main.
Repeat, please.
So parking lot to Jackson and East Main, 400 block.
For command post?
Kimball.
Okay. Jackson, East Main for command post. SWAT 125.
Units that we need breaching tools to clear this building.
Any responding units that need breaching tools to clear the building.
All right, I've got tools in my trunk. Where do you need me? Radio, send us a couple more EMS wagons. Have them come to Preston and Maine. Way down Preston. We got it cleared. They'll be able to get in and out.
Okay, wrong way down Preston. 2 more EMS wagons, area 52. Where do you need breaching tools?
Surgeon 03, get EMS in this first floor. We got 1 live in this conference room.
EMS, first floor conference room.
Go to Preston and Maine. And make sure we have a route clear to the hospital.
Okay, can anyone advise, do you need fire inside now? They're staging.
SWAT medic 301.
SWAT medic 301.
SWAT 125, we need medics to the north corner of the building in the conference room.
Need medics to the north corner of the building to the conference room. SWAT medic 301, are you okay? Radio to SWAT medic 301, were you okay?
I'm in the conference room on the first floor.
North corner conference room, first floor.
911 Baker, we got one shot to the leg, bathroom, center of the building, first floor.
Okay, one shot to the leg, bathroom, first floor, center of the building.
Sheriff 100 radio.
Sheriff 100.
The mother and brother of the shooter have approached me at Preston and Witherspoon.
Okay, mother and brother approach you, Preston Witherspoon, Jerry 53. Units inside the conference room, we're trying to get fire to come into you there.
197, I've got a shooter response kit inside my car, but it's locked here. I'm here at the hospital, y'all. I may have to break my window to get open.
197 has shooter response kit. If anyone can break his window if need be.
710, where's this car? I'll get it.
Where's your car?
401, we're getting everyone to 315 East Main, all the employees. Evac over there.
Gathering employees to 315 East Main.
89, I'm coming with a shooter kit.
Have a unit come with a shooter kit, Area 54.
There are 3 ambulances staged at Preston and Maine right now.
EMS stage, Preston and Maine. Anyone need those units yet?
Car 100, we want to get any witnesses who are uninjured to the Slugger Field parking lot. Homicide detectives are going to take that portion of the scene over and start getting their information.
Any uninjured witnesses to Slugger Field? For you, 20 unit in the conference room, do you have medical assistance now? Radio 20 unit inside the conference room, do you have EMS or fire?
Car 100, where are you at right now? SWAT 210 and 200 on scene with breaching tools. Where we need to be.
Where do you need breaching tools?
All right, guys, I'm going to kill this.
You can advise where you need breaching tools.
If I can find it. Let me get rid of this now. Okay, so that was the dispatch recording from the shooting earlier. And if you ever want to hear some heightened emotion and kind of experience the level of anxiety and things that go on in an elevated, tense situation like that, you probably want to check this out. I'll try to see if I can't find a way to share just that. But yeah, that's pretty wild. Man, that's sad. So according to this, you've got the 26-year-old law enforcement recruit that had only been with the Louisville Metro Police Department for about 2 or 3 weeks, who was one of the first on the scene, ran up there and apparently was shot going up the steps to the bank and was lying there on the bank stairs. He had been shot in the head and immediately went down, of course. So, man, it's tough to listen to that because you're just thinking about this kid, and these officers are, you hear them say that this guy is down on the steps. The killer is shooting from inside the bank. They say that the killer had the angle on them outside, so they knew it would be just an ambush like the guy who was shot, the 26-year-old law enforcement officer who was shot in the head. So nobody else wanted to go up there. Sound like they got a vehicle to use as cover, drove up there to using that vehicle as cover to get the kid and put him in the back of a vehicle and hauled butt to the hospital. And you could just hear the emotion in the guy's voice that had a gunshot wound to the head. And you could just hear, in his voice that this kid's not doing good. That's sad to hear. I mean, I don't care what your opinions are of law enforcement. That's hard to hear. You know what I mean? It's not. This kid showed up to work today to do his thing. Young kid like that. That's hard to hear that. He is in stable condition, but in critical condition, and they've already done the surgery on him today. Hope everybody else is doing okay that had also required some kind of surgery today, but I believe the kid was the main one. A gunshot wound to the head, if he had a rifle, whether it was a rifle or whatever, from any kind of real distance, not knowing what he was using, but it sounds like the shooter may have had some experience. You know what I mean? I mean, we see so many. Look, let's be honest here. We're talking about Louisville. Louisville has a lot of gang activity. Gang members rarely hit anything. I mean, let's just be honest. They rarely do. They usually hit bystanders. They don't hit what they're shooting at. And this kid hit somebody else in the head, one of the smallest things on a body. So unless it was just a wildly lucky shot, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, as somebody said, FBI training. It does seem like this guy had some kind of training. The killer did. So I guess we'll see on that. I mean, he did shoot those 8 different people, I believe. It sounded like, of course, based on all of this, that officers heard gunfire as they were approaching the building. So apparently he had already gone inside and murdered everybody. As we spoke earlier, everybody that he murdered, the 4 people inside, were all sound like management. One executive vice president, which we assumed that earlier. Another person was, I think, a VP as well. There was a marketing specialist or somebody else in there. So it sounded like everybody in there was definitely either in management or certainly they were employees of the bank itself. And then, of course, the officers who were shot. Again, this one kid, if we're going to show anything, I guess the least we could do is show the kid who's in the hospital right now, recovering from the shot to the head. The law enforcement, there he is right there. At least I feel a little better putting his picture up there. There he is. So, I don't have it on there. Let me grab this real quick. Right there. So that's a young man in the center right there. He's with the extremely super liberal Democrat mayor on the left, and I'm sure thinks the exact same way, very anti-gun police chief on the right. I say that because the mayor is who hires the police chief. So more than likely, at least those 2 people on the outside have the same anti-gun mindset. The the mayor was very much anti-gun, gun violence this and gun violence that. Every time he was able to get close to a mic, and seemed like he really relished this opportunity and seemed extremely excited to be on camera talking about something like this, like he had prepared statements already, hoping that something would happen in his community one day that he could be the rock star on, as a lot of these guys are. I don't care what people think about me saying that. It's absolutely true. And I think these people are definitely, they relish in these types of events like this. I think the only true sign of emotion that we saw came from the governor. And I may have mistakenly said earlier that he may have faked his tears. He knew one of the guys, the executive vice president of the bank, who was murdered today. And that might have been the only true real emotion that we saw today from anybody. Most of this is all fake, that these guys act like they're bothered by it, but they're only bothered by that and gin up that emotion leading in to their rant about gun control. It's always the same. Like, they start to act emotional as they enter into their argument about why we need to ban certain things. They're confused right now because they want to come right out and talk about a specific gun, and nobody will give them the details on this gun other than the fact that they're saying it's a rifle, AR style weapon. So they can't really run with that right now, and they want to, and they just they can't do it, man, because they don't have enough details on that. So all they can do is talk about gun violence, quote unquote, and say that that's the problem. That's what that mayor on the far left. I wish I could crop him out of there, because He's definitely a jackass. I can't seem to get rid of him, so we'll leave him there for now. But the guy in the middle is the 26-year-old law enforcement officer that just graduated from the training academy about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's a brand new recruit, brand new on the job, 26 years old, ran straight to the fight. One of the first guys that got there, the shooter shot him in the head as he was approaching on the stairs outside the bank, and he fell right there. And that's where they collected him. The other law enforcement officers did, and brought him to the hospital where he did receive brain surgery and or had his brain operated on, and he's in stable but critical condition still. From what I understand too, somebody mentioned this earlier, and I believe I've seen confirmation of this. It looks like the shooter may have died at the hospital. Again, that's an unofficial report. I'm not saying that I saw that officially, but I've seen it come from 3 different sources already today that he was not dead at the scene, that they were able to bring him to the hospital. He either died in transit to the hospital or at the actual hospital. So that's what I've heard so far. So yeah, man, that's really kind of all we know right now. There's nothing else. What do you know? I've told you what we know. What do we not know? Yeah, the shooter is dead. The shooter is definitely deceased right now, and he was shot by law enforcement. He did not take his own life. What do we not know? We do not know what's in the note that this shooter left for his parents and his friend. And they keep saying his friend, like he left a suicide note or whatever to his parents and friend. That's code for boyfriend, I'm pretty sure. Because if it was his girlfriend, they would say his girlfriend, right? He's 23 years old. 6'4", sound like a big kid. They're trying to put the blame, now that I think they know that he's one of their protected people that you can't say anything bad about, assuming that he probably is. So now they're already trying to frame this as concussions in high school could be the reason for this. My guess is you're going to find that he was on SSRIs. He was on mood altering drugs. Again, not saying that they're all problems, but when they're abused and not taken properly, they obviously can have very negative side effects. They're also saying that he had mentioned how depressed he was and very suicidal. Again, those are side effects of mood altering drugs and SSRIs. It's on the label. So it sounds like this is going to be just another one of those, but the media is going to have a tough time with this one, and so will the anti-gun left. They'll, of course, prance around all of this for the sake of trying to ban guns, but they're not going to go too deep into how much of a crazy wacko this guy was. If he were wearing a MAGA hat and had Donald Trump stuff or even GOP stuff all over his pages, you would know everything about this kid right now that performed this heinous shooting. But since he named his own pronouns on his LinkedIn page, and since he wrote a note to his family and his friend, and since the media is so hell-bent on not releasing any information on him, it tells me everything that I need to know, and I'm going to make these assumptions myself because I've seen these people do this way too many times. And the way they do it is the same every time. The media themselves at the ground level usually are more honest. And I say they're usually, and they're more honest. I'm not saying they're honest, and I'm not saying they're always honest. They usually are, and they usually are going to get a better story from them, as opposed to the national level, who's already framing this and trying to do the things they want. Indiana Diesel, thank you, brother. I know you do that a lot, and I don't expect that from you, but thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you doing that. You've always been good to my channel, and I hope you know that I appreciate that. But with the media's approach right now, trying to now hyper-focus on other things as opposed to the killer, it really does tell you everything that you need to know. This is going to be something that is going to do them wonders for checking boxes. Because remember, the NRA annual meeting is a few hundred miles down the road over in Indianapolis, Indiana. So they're very close in proximity to this. And the same type of thing happened last year to really gin up the wackos on the far left to go protest the NRA annual meeting last year. You'll remember the Uvalde massacre in that school happened in the same week that the NRA annual convention took place down in Houston, Texas. So a couple hundred miles down the road in Uvalde, Texas from Houston, they have this. Now here we are. We have the NRA annual meeting. That's going to be in Indianapolis in a couple of days. And boom, we have this happen a couple of hundred miles down the road. So this is going to be used as a fundraising effort for the anti-gun movement. This ain't going away. Now, unfortunately, they can't post a picture of a white Christian with a MAGA hat on because that's not who this kid was. They were probably really excited at first because it was a clean-cut looking white kid. They're probably like, got him. But then we started seeing more details about how he was anti-Trump and very anti-gun. His dad actually, a report I saw earlier that his own father, only hours before his son shot all these people, the father of the killer reposted that same video of Greg Popovich. You'll notice the San Antonio Spurs video. I put a video out this morning prior to this shooting about San Antonio Spurs NBA head coach Greg Popovich and talking about how stupid he was and how much of a hypocrite he was. And they actually, his dad posted, not my video, but he posted the same video that I used in my video of Greg Popovich. He posted that, and he was railing on gun guys, talking about how crazy gun guys were. And then hours, not even hours later, his own son uses a firearm that he's sitting there condemning in his online posts to take other innocent people's lives. So the dad, hey, you got to deal with that. I did say earlier that I'm praying for their families. Hey, I can pray for wacko anti-gun nuts, right? I can say, I don't like anybody having to suffer with anything bad or negative or whatever. This guy doesn't deserve to deal with what he's going to be dealing with his own son taking these people's lives. But this just goes to show you have to watch yourself when you run your mouth about things that you don't know what you're talking about. And whenever you step off into the deep end and try to get involved in a topic that you're not capable of having that true discussion with. And this guy did that. And now he's got the ultimate egg on his face, man. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than what he's dealing with right now because his own son took these people's lives only an hour or so after he posted an anti-gun rant on one of his social medias. Lisa, thank you, Lisa. Lisa said, thank you for the work you do, Brad and Lisa. Appreciate both of you, Brad and Lisa. Again, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to continue to say it, you guys that support the channel, I do appreciate that. Do not think that I don't appreciate it, but please don't feel like I expect that. But it does mean a lot to me when you folks do that. I know the economy's in the crapper right now. And look, I'd rather see you guys put food on your families. I know that, everybody's not struggling, but I was talking earlier, my special needs son, I had to go get him some lunch today, picked him up a few burgers, fry and a Coke. And it was freaking $14. I was like, $14? I used to be able to feed my family for $14 from a fast food place. Also MSB 9021. Thank you again, sir. He just said, just subscribe. Thanks for getting all this out. Yeah, man. That's one point that I would like to drive home. Again, thank you for the donation to the channel. That means a lot that you do that. All of you guys doing that. I don't expect it. I don't expect you guys to do that. I don't do this in order for that, but I'm very, very grateful. I don't know how to take stuff like that. I'm not good at receiving things like that. So if I seem ungrateful, I'm not. I'm very, very grateful, and I appreciate you doing that. I'm more happy that you subscribe to my channel because YouTube has taken me offline a couple times today, and I've had to put this live stream back up. And I don't know if they're going to give me strikes because I put some things out today that I don't think they wanted to be seen. I did it anyway because I feel like we have to get this information out. So MSB 9021, thank you, man. I'm very appreciative of your sub. If you don't mind, share the videos because that's how I get my word out. I was telling somebody earlier, I want to show this to Deep South EDC, always a supporter of the channel. Says keep up the hard work. They don't play your show in New Orleans. I know, man. They only play my show on the Fox network down here on the east side of Texas and the west side of Louisiana. That's it. I have been on some podcasts in New Orleans, but they don't. Fox won't run my show in New Orleans. I think the audience in New Orleans wants to see what I have to say. I do want to share this though. I wanted to show you guys. Oh, it's talking about my new friend up here that donated. MSB 90210. I want to show you guys this. I took this screenshot earlier. Last summer, not quite this time, between May and August, my channel averaged between 5,000 and 13,000 at the most. So anywhere between that window, 5,000 to 13,000 new subscribers a month. Come September, I was averaging, get this, I went from 10,000 to 0. Put the same amount of videos out, same type of content, all that. I want to show you this picture that I took in the last 28 days. Now, this has been going on since September. Same videos. I got the same amount of views on my videos, the same reach. I got videos from a couple days ago that have 300,000 views on it. YouTube had me in the last 4 weeks, first half of the month. Look at that. First half of the month, they had 0 subscribers. 0. You see that flat line down there? That is 0. So out of 2 million views a month that I get, roughly my channel averages 2 to 3 million views a month. I got 0 new subscribers. That is statistically impossible. And then all of a sudden, the first 2 weeks of the month, 0 new subscribers. The last 2 weeks of the month, 8,031. Come on, man. Come on. So whatever happened, apparently they've undone now, and they're allowing me to receive subscribers again. I guess I was a bad boy and they were punishing me. I don't know. But nevertheless, I'm hopefully back where I was, where they're allowing my channel to be seen again, and people are starting to pay some attention to it. So again, I don't know if that's going to last today. I haven't checked to see, but I don't think I have any strikes against me today, although they took videos down twice today from me. And none of them showed blood. None of them showed people being shot. They were videos of people gunfire in the background and law enforcement running through the streets of Louisville. 2 different times they took that down. So I guess I'll have to be careful right now and not put that up again. But those of you guys that are supporting the channel, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I'm very, very humbled that you guys would do that. But nevertheless, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't do this for the money. Unfortunately, I'm not missing a meal because YouTube is jacking with me. I'm just glad that I'm able to get this information out there. That's a good idea. You could like video twice if you log into different accounts. And you give me an idea by saying that. I know that's a suggestion probably to somebody else, but I need to create a backup channel. I do not have a backup Legally Armed America channel. Last year around this time, I had my channel demonetized and locked down by YouTube for a week leading up to, I put some information out about, what a coincidence, I put some information out about the Uvalde shooting, and YouTube pretty much locked my channel down. They would not let me upload anything, do a live stream or anything for 7 days leading up to the NRA show. And I had to appeal it. I won my appeal, believe it or not, if you can believe that. I still had 30 days to go on another thing that they had nailed me with, and they actually lifted the things on my channel. So thank you also here. The Arcane Observer, new subscriber here. Thank you for all your hard work. Like your channel a lot. Thank you. I appreciate you checking in. It means a lot that you guys are doing that. I'm just trying to give everybody shout outs right now that have been here. A lot of you were here earlier this morning when all of this went down, and I appreciate that. And I mean, I'm trying to get it all in. Please get in. I see account backup all your videos. I'll try that. I will say this. There's a channel called Utreon. I believe it's a Canadian channel. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy says subbed and joined. I appreciate that, Kathy, very much. I'm not sure if this is your first time viewing my channel. I will say this. What I try to do, guys, is you'll look at my other content. I try to put videos out on a regular basis. Every single day, I'm known for putting videos out. Of course, my videos won't have the production, the better, not that my production is that great, but they won't have decent production starting later this week, because I will be in Indianapolis myself at the NRA meeting. Any of you guys that are going to be at the NRA meeting in Indianapolis, please go by the Rock Island Armory booth. I will be there signing copies of my book. This is my book. Last year, I met a lot of you guys in the Houston NRA meeting and sold about 1,000 books. So I'm bringing 2,000 up there to Indianapolis, and hopefully I can meet a lot of you guys. I signed every single book. Every book that I've ever sold or given away, I have signed. So just come by the booth anyway, just to talk. If you don't want a book, that's cool. I'm bringing a lot of cool stuff with me to give away because I enjoy meeting you guys. It's a lot of fun for me. be able to meet people who watch the videos. It's special to me. It really is. I know it sounds corny, but I enjoy meeting you guys. So I bring a bunch of stuff. I will have a wad of t-shirts. I can only bring so many of those. I have a ton of really cool patches, lots of decals. I have a couple of hats that I'll be bringing to give away. Kathy says Utron is Canadian. From what I understand, it's Canadian. Hank Strange is who turned me on to Utreon. And let me just say this. There are some big things you're going to be hearing about Utreon in the near future. Let me just say that. Okay. I can't divulge the information that I have, but there's something that will be happening with Utreon very soon. So that's it. Yes. Recap. We'll get to this in 1 second. Oh, excuse me. I took it off. Beaten goo or beaten. Yeah. I guess that's beaten goo. Say the recap. Let me give you a recap in just a second. I want to give shout outs to more of you people. Beowulf 605. I've seen you on the channel before. Thanks for your great channel. Keep up the great work. I appreciate you, brother. Hi, Paul, from the other side of Sabine River. David must be in Texas. The Sabine River separates Texas and Louisiana. So I'm on the east side of the Sabine. David must be on the west side of Sabine. Good to hear from you, brother. Hank Strange is a good dude, a good friend, and a great person. South Texas here. Randall, good to see you, man. Again, I'm trying to go through this. Tim says, if you can't make your own content, why is it called YouTube? It's definitely not YouTube, right? That's for sure. Okay, a recap. Let me give a quick recap of what I know. All right. I know some of you guys are new coming in here into the room. Again, not sure. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Okay. We have a 26-year-old shooter. I think was still a current employee of the bank, because what they said earlier, and on screen real quick, you're going to be seeing the guy in the middle. That is the law enforcement officer who got shot in the head today. He's in critical but stable condition at the University of Louisville Hospital. That's why I have this picture up as we talk about this. The shooter's a 26-year-old employee. From what I heard, the guy was told that he was, or notified that he was going to be terminated, which sounds absolutely stupid. You don't call a guy or tell a guy on Friday, I'm terminating you next week. You tell them you're going to terminate them while you're terminating them. That's just the report that I've got so far. So it sounds like this guy had the chance to prepare to come into the bank this morning, because he went to the bank. Remember, this was 8:30 in the morning. The bank opened at 9. So he was either a current employee or he knew how to get into that bank still before it was opening, because it was not open to the general public. So made his way in there. He killed 4 people. It sounded like at least 2 or 3 of them were bank executives. Executive vice president or senior vice president was one of them, who was a friend of the governor. Democrat governor got choked up at the news conference. You could tell it was a little bit emotional, I guess. Did kill those people. Shot this young man that you see in the center of the photo right here. This guy is, again, recovering. It sounds like this person had some issues. I will say this is my opinion, not from news reporters. I will tell you when it's my opinion or somebody else's news, but I do think that this shooter, this killer, was of the protected class. And you guys are going to have to read between the lines, because this is where YouTube will kill my live stream. I do believe he was a protected individual. He was a white male who chose pronouns. On his LinkedIn account, he had pronouns listed on his LinkedIn account. None of them pronouns on the LinkedIn account. There's no way that this is not on my... This is weird. Oh, okay, here it is. I was going to say, don't tell me this picture is missing now. I'm the one that took it. This guy, I'm going to try to get his face off of here because I don't want him to get any more notoriety than what he has. This is his LinkedIn account, and you'll notice he chose him and he as his pronouns. I don't know many people, sane people, who are choosing pronouns these days. So there are several things. Plus, he hated Trump. He had some social media memes that they were posted. Now they've taken all this down. So because this kid, even though he was a white male, he did fall into some protected classes that the anti-gun wackos on the far left, as well as the mainstream media, never want to draw any negative attention to. So you're probably not going to hear much more about the killer. Probably not much more about his background, because that kind of backfired on them last week in Nashville when we had the gender pretender trans shooter that went up there and shot innocent people at a Christian school. So don't look for much more information about this guy. You might hear more about his parents. Again, I did mention earlier that his anti-gun, his dad sounds like an anti-gun wacko, because his anti-gun dad posted only an hour or so prior to his own son using a gun to take people's lives the Greg Popovich video, where the guy's railing about the gun community and saying how the Second Amendment is a game and is a myth. So we know that his family are anti-gun people. Again, he's going to fall into most of the protected classes other than race. It sounds like he probably checks them all. And excuse me, he did leave a note for, quote, family and a friend. When you word it like that, instead of saying girlfriend, it's not one of his buddies. It sounds like it was his buddy. Again, I'm trying to let you guys read between the lines because YouTube will take this video down. If I say what needs to be said, please figure it out on your own. You'll understand what I'm talking about. So with him being a protected member of the far left, you're not going to hear a whole lot about him going forward. Unfortunately, you're not going to hear about the true things. They have already tried to paint this not about him being a wacko in many other instances. They've already started putting a little bit of information out about his background, saying that he had concussions in high school, that he was a football player and was usually out not being able to play in football games because he was suffering from concussions. So it sounds like they're going to go down the whole concussion thing now and not show that this guy was a wacko, say that he actually had mental problems because of injuries in high school. Unfortunately, that's where they're at on this. It's politicized. Again, that's why I try to pull this information from these local affiliates, because they're usually a little bit more honest. Folks, I'm going to let you guys talk about it for a minute here. I'm going to go check on my special needs son inside real quick. He was playing in the backyard. My studio overlooks our backyard area, and my son just walked in the house. I'm going to go check on him. My wife is not home yet. I'm going to go check that out. You guys, if you want to hang on for a minute, I will be right back. Let you guys finish your conversations, and then I'll close the stream down here in a little bit. There's several hundred of you in the room. I'm looking at 722 of you all in here right now. So I really don't want to shut the room and kick you guys out right now. So I will be right back shortly. Just give me a second here. Kathy, thank you again. Kathy, I want to say that. Kathy is a new subscriber to the channel and a new member. I really appreciate that. Man, I got to put some of this out here. You guys are just too nice. Jason says, appreciate you covering the Washington assault weapons bans. Stocked up on a bunch of lowers, bought a K&E arms lower. Yeah, man, good for you, brother. That Washington, that looks like that's coming, man. So you guys, y'all watch out for that. Where was one of my other friends I wanted to put in? Here we go. See him here all the time. My buddy Werewolf 6. Werewolf, you're always in here, man. I appreciate you always being in on these live streams. It means a lot. And very, very much appreciate you, man. A lot of you guys have been in, a lot of new people today, but a lot of old people in here. Deep South, EDC, I mean, always in here. Another Louisiana brother right there. So I do appreciate that. I can't thank everybody because there's so many people in the room right now, but so many of you are why I put these videos out. So I want y'all to know that, if you're not watching, I'm not making them. So there we go again. Death Steel 03. I subbed. Hopefully YouTube won't unsubscribe me again. Man, hey, that's a thing. That's a big thing, man. I mean, they're unsubscribing a lot of my folks. I will say this in their defense, YouTube's defense. I can't believe I'm defending YouTube. Did have somebody on my live stream a couple days ago that did say that they have been subscribed and they've always been subscribed and they've never been taken off. So some are and some are not. Be right back, guys. paper towels.
It's dry so fast. All that rain, the pots dry out. So, and that's toilet paper. We'll put on both of them.
Hey there, friends. It looks like we're not getting any more information out. I just checked and there's still nothing out there. I'm going to shut the live stream down. Yes. This is a second live stream from earlier. This was an update live stream and I was leaving it open because there was 700-800 people in here, but it looks like everybody's kind of getting out of here. Guys, I appreciate you all hanging out with me today. It's been a long day. I'll probably put some updates together later on. And we'll kind of go from there. I mean, if something happens later tonight or something springs free later tonight, I'll put another video out. But for now, it looks like they're not letting anything else out. And I want to draw attention. If you hear anything about the actual shooter, hold on to that information because it sure seems like that's being suppressed right now. That throws up a lot of red flags to me about things that may be in this killer's background, the way the media is trying to protect him right now and doesn't want to talk to him. So thanks, guys. I'm going to end the broadcast and I will either come back live later on tonight or I'll upload shorts or something like that or video, just something to kind of get some information out there if there's any additional updates to this particular story. Otherwise, I know I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. Thanks, folks. I appreciate you guys, all the friends that hung out with us today. Enjoyed your company and your feedback. You guys provided me a lot of good information. So thanks, friends. We will talk to you all soon.